Ready to secure your app? In this video, we're diving into authentication and authorization using Descope and Next.js with App Router. First, let's get clear on what we're dealing with. Authentication asks, who are you? It verifies identity through login credentials like passwords, magic links, or passkeys. Authorization asks, what can you do? It determines which resources an authenticated user can access. In this video, I'll show you how to use Descope to integrate authentication and role-based access control, RBAC for short, into a Next.js application. Descope makes adding authentication and authorization easy. Instead of coding login screens from scratch, Descope provides a highly intuitive SDK and flows, a visual no-code builder, for common user interactions like logins and signups. It handles the messy stuff like sessions and errors so you can focus on building the core features. To follow along with this tutorial, you'll need the latest version of Node.js and Git installed in your system. You'll also need a free Descope account. You can sign up for one using the link in the description. To show you how to implement RBAC, I'll use a simple blogging web application that allows users to create blog posts and then publish them. I'll create two roles, editor and admin. Editors can write blog posts and then submit them for approval. Admins can view the submitted posts and then publish them. To start, I'll create a project in Descope and name it Descope Next.js Auth RBAC. In the Flows tab, I can see that Descope has generated some flows for me. I'll be using one of these later. I'll select Project from the sidebar and copy the project ID, as I'll need this later. Now, I'll grab a management key. I'll select Company and go to the Management Keys tab. I'll create a new key, give it a name, and select Project Level Access. Here, I'll choose the project I just created and select Full Access. Then I'll generate the key, copy it, and save it for later. For this tutorial, I've already set up a starter template on GitHub. You can grab the link in the description below. Make sure you're on the starter template branch. I'll go ahead and clone the app to my PC. Then, I'll navigate into the directory and install the dependencies. I'll create a .env file to store my environment variables. I'll paste this database URL variable here. It defines the location of my database. For simplicity, I'm using a SQLite database. The app uses Prisma as an ORM, so I need to run the migration to generate the database structure. I'll run this command for that. Now I can start the server by running npm run dev. I'll navigate to localhost 3000 to see the dashboard. If I click on Start Writing, I'll be able to write a post. But right now, anyone can write posts since there's no authentication. So let's fix that first. I'll start by installing the Descope SDK. I'll open app/layout.js and replace the code with this. The difference is that I've wrapped the whole body with Auth provider. By the way, you can copy all the code from the main branch of the GitHub repo linked in the description. I'll use the sign up or in flow that I generated when configuring the project to allow the user to sign into the application. The sign up or in flow presents the user with a welcome screen where they're prompted to provide their email address. Once the user provides the email address and clicks the continue button, a magic link is sent to the email address. Once the user clicks that link, Descope verifies it and the user is authenticated. Then, the flow checks if the user is new or returning. If the user is new, they're prompted to provide additional information, in this case, their name and phone number. I'll open app/signin/page.js and paste this code. Here, I'm using the Descope component and the flow ID to launch the flow. Once successfully authenticated, the handle event function is called. This function calls the API/register route with the user data if it's a new user. Otherwise, it redirects to the root route. The API/register endpoint is defined in the app/API/register/route.js files, and it adds the user to the local database. To enforce authentication for all the pages in this application, I need to set up a middleware. To do so, I'll create middleware.js and paste this code. It uses the auth middleware function provided by the Descope Next.js SDK to protect all routes and redirect unauthenticated users to the sign-in page. Now, I'll paste the credentials in .env along with the project ID and the management key. Then I'll define the sign-in route. Before I can test the app, there's one more thing I need to do. In app/write/page.js, the save post function requires the Descope user ID. I can retrieve this using the hooks provided by the Next.js SDK. I'll import the useUser hook from the SDK. Then I'll call this hook to get the user object. Now I can test the app. When I reload this page, I'm taken to the sign-in page. I'll register a user here. Descope will send me an email with a magic link. Once I click it, it'll ask me to provide my name and phone number. I'll click Verify and enter the OTP. I'll also click Submit and say no to password list for now. Then I'm redirected to the home page. Currently, anyone can log into the application, create posts, submit them for approval, and approve the posts. In this example, I want to specify that editors can write posts and submit them for approval, and only admins can publish the posts. Before I start implementing authorization, I'll create a few posts to test with. I'll fast forward through this for the sake of time. Now that I have a few posts ready, I'll go to the Descope console and select Authorization. I'll create a new role called Editor and give it the description, can write posts and submit them for approval. Next, I'll create another role named Admin and add another description. The admins will be able to toggle the published status of a post, so I'll write can toggle the published status. I'll select User here. And here I can see the user I just registered. To give this user editor permissions, I'll click on this menu and select Edit. Then I'll select Add Tenant/Role and choose Editor. Then I'll save the user. In app/page.js, I'll import the useUser hook. Before the fetch posts function, I'll call this hook to get the user object. This is the link to the writing page. I'll replace it with the following. This code only shows the writing page to a user who has the editor role. I'll open app/posts/postid/page.js and add the import like before and call the hook. This button toggles the published status of the post. I'll wrap it with a check so only an admin can see it. For extra security, I'll also validate these roles in the API route handlers. In the lib folder, I'll create descope.js and paste this code, which creates an instance of the Descope SDK client. In app/API/posts/create/route.js, I have this route, which creates a new post. First, I'll import the Descope SDK. Then I'll use getJWT_roles to get the user roles. I'll throw an error if the user doesn't have the editor role. This prevents an unauthorized user from directly calling the API. I'll do the same in app/API/posts/toggle_status/route.js. This time, I'll check for the admin role. You may notice I'm using the session tokens to fetch the user roles. Because of this, I need to pass the session token from the front end. I'll open app/write/page.js and import the useSession hook. I'll call it to access the session token. Then I'll add the retrieved session token to the body of the post request in the savePost function. I'll do the same in app/posts/postid/page.js. This time, I'll add the token to the toggle published status call. And that's it. Let's check the app. Since I assigned myself the editor role, I can see the Start Writing button. If I open a post, I can see its details, but I can't see the Publish/Unpublish button since I'm not an admin. If I assign myself the admin role like this, I can refresh the page and I'll be able to see the Publish button. And that's it. My app now has authentication and authorization. It really is as easy as that to use Descope to implement authentication and authorization in your Next.js app. Descope is a leading customer authentication and identity platform that helps developers easily design their application's authentication processes using no-code workflows. If you want to see what else Descope can do, check out our blog. We have a great one on adding authentication and RBAC in Vue.js and another on adding authentication and SSO to Remix. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.